Hi guys, this is Mega Supreme here with a Transformers toy review, third party review. I'm having a look at TFC's Hades. And I've got all the bits here ready to combine. I've got them all in their combined mode. Just thought I'd mention straight off the bat is these are the hands which came with this one, TFC 01, which have got slightly pointed fingers. These are the ones that came with the last figure, the ones that split into the guns, which have got sort of flat tips to them. So you actually do get two sets of hands with this set. Presumably they changed their mind halfway through and decided to go with these ones rather than these ones. I actually prefer the first set of hands, which have got more detail on, and they also haven't got the thing where you've got a line down and where you have to peg these hands in together because they kind of fold out to become guns. A bit like kind of the Perfect Effect hands, but these don't peg together as well. What I might do actually is, if I can peg these two together, that's the trouble. I pegged the other ones together alright. Is I might use these for combinable sounds, because you can actually just pull that out and actually use it like that if you want to. So I might use the extra set for the hands for combiner. You do have these combiner ports here, which came with the last figure. So these are to replace these apparently. I can't see any difference apart from the silver bit at the bottom here. On these ones seems a little bit wider, but the actual thing itself seems like it's the same size. So I'm going to try it with it as it is, just to see how it all works. First thing is I'll combine the kind of torso bit with this bit in here. So I think I've shown this before. These bits plug into here, and it is a quite hard fit. And then these pegs are going to peg into there. Does this bit need to come down? That bit probably needs to come down. There as well, so it's out of the way, I think. Let's line it all up, and then it's a bit of a case of just kind of pushing everything down, just making sure I've got these out of the way. I think that's supposed to go like that. So line it all up, and then it's a case of using a bit of brute force just to peg it all in. This is the first time I've combined all of them together, so kind of everything you've seen is going to be kind of live in terms of what's easy, what's difficult about transforming it all, putting it all together. And this bit certainly is quite tricky. Ah, Jesus Christ. That's so hard to do. Right, sorry, bear with me, I'm trying my best to plug this all in. But you can see it's quite tricky to do. What I might do is just move these arm pieces just aside, just so I can concentrate and get that middle section in. so hard to get in there. Crikey, I'm sure I did it last time. I know you can't see this, but I'm just trying to lining it up as best I can here. I might try that bit off camera. I finally managed to do it with a bit of force. What I actually had to do is these side bits here, I had to just move them down a section just to give us a bit more clearance before I then plugs it all in. But it still took a fair bit of force, and then these bits click into here. On this one, actually, beforehand, the little peg, it actually snapped off on there. So that's a little bit annoying, but yeah, it doesn't fit in that well. Next bit, what we'll try and do is put together the legs. So you've got these on here, and I think this is where some of the stability issues may come into play. So let's give it a go. So like I said, this is my first time doing this, so that's the first leg in. And it feels like it's going to be wobbly already, I think. Second leg. That's in as well. And let's get him to a point where he's standing. Kind of semi-well, so let's have a look. So that's him standing up at the moment. So the legs didn't peg together too bad in the end. I just widened the stance to see if that'll help him as well. So that's stayed in so far, not a bad stance. He looks as if he's leaning back a bit, so I'm just going to lean him forward a bit. So it's not too bad. Yeah, that looks alright there. Looks as if he's leaning forward on one of them. And then, so that's not too bad. And then we'll plug the arms in, so you've got a peg hole here, which matches up onto this side here. That's his first arm in. And then come around to the other side. I'm going to try and peg in his other arm. And you see the legs, they're just giving way just as I was doing that. Let's try and set them up. Oh. See, the trouble I'm having is as you move the legs around, these bottom bits are kind of coming unpegged. Right, so I've kind of got them stood up there to a certain degree. You do then have his gun, which is basically all the ones, those other ones pegged together that came with. Oh. Yeah, he wants to fall over a lot. It's these leg pieces here and this bit here that's I wonder if you can do this, and if you kind of peg that in with that help. I think the doorbell just gone, so I'll just get that. Right, so I've kind of got the legs in a bit of a better position. So down at the bottom here, you can kind of move these feet in a little bit, kind of turn them in a little bit to give him a bit of a better stance. Once he's in that, he does stand up okay and stay in that position. But if you attempt moving any of the legs around, start trying to get him into fancy poses, you know, you're going to be there 5-10 minutes just trying to get him into a decent pose, trying to get him to stand there. I'll try and go over some of the articulation, which is going to be difficult because he kind of wants to fall over. So you do have ratchets in the arm there, but you can see as soon as I start moving that weight around, he just kind of wants to drop. Oh, I have managed to get him in that position there with holding his gun forward, so you can do it. It is, so they're quite soft ratchets, but where mine has lost that pegging in there, it can like take the whole thing with it. And then you've got a bend in the arm here that also does swivel round as well. Swivel on the hands, the fingers are individually articulated as well, so you can move this around. The gun does stay in quite well. It's all pegged in. I mean, obviously I've just unpegged it, but that's all pegged in there if you want to. Come around this side. Same with this hand here. This one fits in better because I've got the peg hasn't snapped off on this side here. So he's standing up okay here. You do have articulation at the knee here. So bends and forward like that. You do have waist articulation here. Legs do go out and in. These bits do go out and in and swivel. So he's not too bad once you kind of get him in a position where all his weight is distributed properly. But he's not like, say, the Combiner was ones where you're going to be kind of messing around and playing around with him so much. He kind of, I think, you know, once you get him in a decent pose, you know, you're probably going to have him on display that way, and just kind of pray he doesn't fall over. See what I mean? Yeah. And the design of the feet, I don't think helps, because obviously the makeup of the feet is very much different on this Combiner as the other ones. They're kind of side on with these bits on here. And they've tried their best to kind of make them work, but yeah, they are. I don't think they're the best. You can see there that it's trying to kind of wobble around. And if you move them around a bit more, you can get them to stand up better. So he stands up all right there. So it's not too bad. He does also come with this, I don't know if you can see that, this kind of huge sort of spear thing. And he can hold that in his hand. Okay. In fact, you might want to use it as a walking stick for him, so he can hold that in his hands. And he can kind of clutch onto it okay. So if I move his arm up on this side here, and move his legs around so he doesn't topple over. this bit here where it wants to fall forward. I'm just wondering whether or not I should swap these legs around and try it that way, because the joint is weak going forward, so I'm just wondering whether it's not going to be as bad going backwards. So let's try that a second. Oh no, it's the this bit here, isn't it? Try swapping the feet around. So I'm going to just swap move the thighs around the other way, just to see if he fares any better that way around. So with his thighs this way round, so then the weakness is going back like that. So let's test that out. So I know you can't see this off camera, I'm just, because he is pretty big, I'm just trying to right. So I'm just getting the last one on. Get this last port in. He's so fiddly as well, just to try and get all of these in. Jesus. And as you do it, everything just comes unpegged at the same time. So that's come out as well. So that's brilliant. So on this one, the actual thing's actually got stuck in there and stayed in there. So I'm going to have a look, see if I can get that out. Right, okay, so I've managed to fix that. In terms of stability of the feet, I brought the leg pieces up on this side here and on this side here, just to help with him leaning forward. It does improve it. It's not perfect, very far from it. It's very, very difficult to get any sort of decent pose on him or movement on the legs without him kind of doing the splits or, you know, kind of moving around in that way. The arms are fine, torso's fine, head's fine. The head, you don't get much articulation on it until you take that bit off there, and then you can kind of move it around 360 up and down a little bit because it's just covering the smaller head. Hands are fine, weapons are good. You know, he's got this weapon here. I pulled it off the wrong bit, but if you actually pull off this bit here and this bit, wrong bit, here, you can hold that as a weapon in his hands. Just to show you that you can hold them up. You just hold them fairly loosely in his hands there, and you can see he's still wanting to kind of lean forward. How much you want to sort of play around with him. So I've actually got him leaning back there, which is better than him. Kind of leaning all the way forward. But yeah, I don't know what the fix is. I've tried putting in those other things. I've moved his feet around a little bit just to help with it. But yeah, that's about as good as I can get him, to be honest with you. You know, normally this is the bit where I say, you know, whether or not you should buy him. I wouldn't bother. They're alright as individual figures, but putting them together like this, it's really disappointing, especially with the legs. It's just such a chore to move anything around. And I've tried replacing the leg pieces with these ones here, after you saw on camera that one just snapped off and got stuck in there. So I had great fun doing that. So as a result of that, I've got stress marks on the front of this one here. Yeah, a few little bits and pieces like that. But yeah, I can't really recommend the set, unfortunately. It's okay if you want it just to stand there and look pretty. It does do that, and it's pretty good, intimidating figure. You know, it's a good size, bigger than any of the kind of combinable ones. So we've got Thunderwing here. So there he is, next to Combiners Wars 1. So you can see he's a good deal bigger, but I just can't recommend him, unfortunately. It's too much money for too many problems with the actual figure itself, unfortunately. Individually they're alright, but you know, I'm guessing most people are buying it as a set, as a combiner, which it's not very good as, unfortunately. So that's it. It's been my review of Hades. Hope you've enjoyed the review. Let me know if you'll be picking Sky up. Cheers, bye.